It's hard to imagine a completely unique plot twist in video games these days. Gamers have become so jaded that we almost expect something to go wrong or someone to betray us. And with betrayal becoming a popular twist, getting the player invested is necessary to evoke a genuine sense of, being stabbed in the back. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and click on the links in the description to vote on upcoming content. While the emotional impact of an in-game betrayal often comes in a game's final moments, one of BioShock's triumphs is making it happen 3/4 of the way through. Trying to escape Hephaestus as it explodes, you fall out of a vent and land in a room where you discover the grim truth. Atlas has been Frank Fontaine all along, Andrew Ryan's sworn enemy who faked his own death and returned with an alter ego to lead a guerrilla war against Ryan's tyranny.
There ain't no Atlas, kid. Never was.
It's because the story continues after this reveal that it's so memorable, exploring in detail the aftermath of the greatest video game betrayal of all time. 2007's BioShock tackled storytelling in a very unique way, opting to explain almost everything through scarce radio transmissions from the enigmatic character Atlas, and occasionally others like the city's founder, Andrew Ryan, or the creator of the Little Sisters, Bridget Tenenbaum.
I'm Atlas, and I aim to keep you alive.
While Atlas explains the game's basic principles to you, everything else around the world of Rapture is gathered from audio logs or from the environment itself, such as picket signs protesting Ryan's ban on bathyspheres or propaganda posters celebrating Atlas. Of course, in a horror game like this, it's impossible not to be focused on the splicers and turrets and everything else that's trying to kill you. But it's equally impossible for the player not to absorb the immersive background material in the same way that Jack, our protagonist, would were he really here. It's this subconscious absorption of Rapture's lore and politics which makes the reveal that Atlas and Fontaine are the same person even more impactful. You haven't simply been told that Fontaine is bad by the game's secondary characters and audio logs. You really feel like you're in Rapture and you've actually been screwed over by Fontaine, who was posing as your only ally up until this point. No other game betrayal reveals in quite the same way the futility of the player's agency, and the fact that you have, up until the death of Andrew Ryan, been used as a tool by Atlas/Fontaine in his mission to take over Rapture and become its new overlord is devastating. Everything you have done has been to further Fontaine's goals, all the way down to you actually being Andrew Ryan's secret son genetically modified to obey one iconic phrase. Would you kindly?
Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
And then to top it all off, Fontaine engages the sinister Code Yellow to slowly kill Jack, becoming the new primary antagonist and final boss from there onward. Jack changes from being the survivor of a plane crash to discovering that he is the one who hijacked and crashed the plane himself. And all this time he has been the ace in the hole, a product of Rapture's heartless science just as twisted as everybody else who lives in the city. Considering a main aspect of the gameplay up until that point had been about the player's choice to harvest or rescue the Little Sisters, discovering that these choices are almost meaningless, only really serving to change the ending cutscene, is kind of all the more sickening. But the thing that really makes this infamous reveal sting is the fact that the player has come to trust Atlas so much.
You're gonna have to trust me.
He leads you to weapons, teaches you about the world, and guides you through a staged attempt to rescue his family, all as a shadow motivation to go and murder Andrew Ryan. The player trusting Atlas was so important to the game's developers that creative director Ken Levine revealed that Atlas's voice actor completely changed during the development process.
Yes, trust was everything there, right? And so there was something about either the actor or the writing or the accent that just people immediately said, this guy's no good.
You see, the first voice actor for Atlas actually had a Southern American accent, and the developers found that during playtests the players did not engage or trust this character. Because of that, he had to be dropped after he'd already recorded almost all of his lines. Then the new Irish voice actor was chosen, and finally the character of Atlas came together.
Listen, I've got a family. I need to get them out of here.
The plot twist tradition continued in BioShock's 2013 installment, the also critically acclaimed BioShock Infinite. But the ending twist that Booker DeWitt has been Comstock the entire time doesn't really have the same impact. Sorry, spoilers. Given the revelations of the first games, you're pretty much expecting a moment like this to occur in Infinite. While in the first one, especially back in 2007, you have absolutely no idea that a twist of this magnitude was even on the horizon. And because of the whole Infinite Universe thing, you know that the Booker you've been playing as the entire game really isn't the same Comstock hell-bent on kidnapping Elizabeth. The Booker/Comstock reveal affects the game's characters, like Elizabeth, much more than it affects the player, but you're left with the sense that your Booker was trying to right the mistakes his Comstock counterpart made. There may not be a choice mechanic, but your actions in Infinite do feel less futile than your actions in the original. And this sense of futility is actually what makes BioShock and the twist stand out so much. The Atlas/Fontaine duality is so intrinsic to the franchise that they even went back to it for the Burial at Sea DLC in 2013 and in 14, which returned the series to its roots in Rapture. It showed Elizabeth's role in enabling Atlas to bring Jack to Rapture and orchestrating all of the events of the first game. But probably the coolest reminder in this DLC of the moment which made the original such a masterpiece is when Elizabeth stumbles across a secret dressing room Easter egg. In it are Fontaine's makeup and fake wig, revealing to her that they are in fact the same person.
Fontaine and Atlas. Son of a bitch.
BioShock really helped illustrate the creative ways to approach a complex narrative without giving away too much or being blatantly transparent. And Atlas's betrayal and the discovery of that room is always going to be one of the most unforgettable moments in gaming history, and our pick for the greatest video game betrayal of all time.
Been a sport, so I guess I owe you a little honesty. The name's Frank Fontaine.
Thanks for watching Mojo Plays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.